So our solution works fine as we have seen in the previous video, but there are some flaws in the code that we have written. The first issue that we have noticed is updating this profile field even if the amount field value is blank. So we are going to take care of this issue first, and then we are going to talk about the remaining issues. So this should be an easy one. We just need to add one more if condition here. So before I check for the amount field, I'll simply see if the opportunity amount is not blank or if it is not null. So like if it is equals to null, then what I'll do, I'll simply continue from current loop. So I'm going to use my continue statement here. So if my code finds out that amount is null, then I'll simply continue it, or rather we'll update the profile field to maybe blank. So what I'll do, let me simply copy it, and what I'll do, I'll update it to blank, and that's it. We can put it inside else if, and this should work fine actually. Let me give our code another try. I'll execute it again. Let's go to the opportunity result, click on refresh grid, and now we see if the amount is blank, then the profile field is also blank. But do you think this piece of code will always work even if we get more amount of data or more number of opportunity record IDs? To know the answer, let's try it out. I'll go to my anonymous window, and here each of the opportunity record that I am adding in my list of op IDs, I'll be writing this statement maybe like 5 times. So I duplicate the opportunity record ID 5 times. So this list will be much bigger. So if my org has, let's say, 30 opportunity records, and if I'm adding each of the record ID 5 times, then this list will have 150 opportunity record IDs, out of which 120 will be duplicate and only 30 will be genuine. The reason why I'm doing it is just to test it for more number of opportunity records. And if you don't want to do it in this way, then you can create maybe like 150 more opportunity records in your Salesforce org and then leave this code as is. But for now, I'll simply duplicate this add statement just to make my list bigger, and then I'll execute my code again. So here we got our first exception. It says there are too many SOQL queries that we are trying to run in our Salesforce transaction. So if you remember from our previous video, we can only execute 100 SOQL queries in a single Salesforce transaction. And this error itself says that we are trying to execute more than 100 SOQL queries. And I'll show you the reason. So the reason is this method right here is going to accept more than 100 record IDs. And for each of these record IDs, we are writing a SOQL statement. So it's quite obvious that there will be more than 100 SOQL statements that will be executing as part of this single transaction. So we need to improve our code, because if we leave our current code as is, then this piece of code will never work for more than 100 records. It will always fail. So we need to ensure that it doesn't matter if we get one single opportunity record IDs or if we get thousands, this code should always work. So we are going to make some changes in the code. So this is how I will avoid this SOQL 101 exception. I'm going to bring this SOQL query out of my for loop, and I'm going to write it before the for loop. And here, instead of having a equals to operator, I'm going to have the in operator. And here, instead of passing the single opportunity ID, I'm going to pass my list of opportunity IDs. So this way I can retrieve all my opportunity records in one single SOQL query. And this way I'll be retrieving the list of opportunities instead of one single opportunity. So let's call it ops. And now I can actually iterate over these ops record instead of opportunity IDs. So our list will be ops, and here instead of ID, now we'll be working with opportunity record itself, because now we are iterating over a list of opportunity, and we can change this op ID to maybe op, and rest of the code will remain same. So still we are iterating over all the opportunity records, and we are checking the amount field against each and every opportunity record individually, and then we are updating that record. So let's save this code and let's give our execution another try, and let's see if we see any issue or not. So let's click on execute again, and our code has started working again. We should be seeing the similar output. So yeah, even if you refresh your grid, we still see all the profile fields populated. Let's also have a look at the summary of our Apex transaction. So let's come to the debug logs and scroll down so that we see that summary section. So this time it says that we have only executed 2 SOQL queries, which includes the SOQL query that we have in the anonymous window. So this was our first one, and the second one was from the opportunity controller class. So here within the single SOQL query, we are retrieving all our records. So our number of SOQL queries are down to only 2. So previously it was 34. Now we are only using 2 SOQL queries. And out of these 2 SOQL queries, we are retrieving 64 records. And we are still using 32 DML rows because we are updating 32 opportunity records. So now our job would be to bring down this number of DML statements.